222 million euros. That was the shocking world record fee for Neymar's move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain, a number that didn't just break the bank, it changed football forever. But what if I told you that number is a smokescreen? The official story is simple. A player moves between two clubs. The real story, though, is a complex web of hidden fees, secret commissions, and backroom deals that sends the total cost into the stratosphere. It's a parallel economy humming along in the shadows of the beautiful game, where the headline price is just the tip of a very, very large iceberg. So, who really profits from the modern game? To find the answer, you have to ignore the press conferences and the shiny new kits. You have to follow the money. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll trace the cash from start to finish to expose the hidden figures who truly control football. When a club announces a 100 million euro signing, you might picture a suitcase full of cash being exchanged. The reality is far less cinematic and infinitely more complex. That nine-figure sum is almost never paid at once. Football clubs, even the giants, are businesses. They have cash flow to manage and budgets to balance. Handing over 100 million euros in one go isn't just difficult, it's often bad business. Instead, the vast majority of transfer fees are paid in installments. That 100 million euro deal might be structured as 25 million euro upfront, with 3 more annual payments of 25 million euros. This lets the buying club spread the cost over the player's contract, making it much more manageable. But this creates a problem for the selling club. They've lost their star player, and now they have to wait years to get the full fee. Money they need now to buy a replacement and run their own club. This is where the first hidden players enter the picture: financial institutions. Selling clubs often engage in what's basically invoice financing. They'll take the 75 million euros in future payments owed to them and sell that debt to a lender. The lender gives the club a lump sum, say 70 million euros, taking a discount as their fee. The lender then collects the future installments from the buying club. The selling club gets its cash, the buying club still pays over time, and a bank makes a tidy profit just for bridging the gap. Already, the money has started to leak away from the two clubs involved. Then there are the bonuses and add-ons, clauses that make the final fee swell. A transfer might be announced as 80 million euro plus 20 million euros in performance-related add-ons. These could be triggered if the player wins the Ballon d'Or, if the team wins the Champions League, or after a certain number of appearances. We also have sell-on clauses, where the selling club gets a percentage of any future transfer fee if the player is sold again. These are incredibly common and are often structured as 15 to 20% of the profit from a future sale. If transfer fees are the engine of the market, then agents have their hands firmly on the steering wheel. The age of the simple representative is long gone. Today, we live in the era of the super agent, power brokers who act like shadow sporting directors, shaping the destinies of players and clubs. Men like the late Mino Raiola, Jorge Mendes, and Jonathan Barnett built empires by controlling entire stables of the world's most elite talent. Their power isn't just in negotiating a contract. It's in their ability to create and control the market itself. FIFA's own data reveals the staggering scale of this influence. In 2025, agent commissions for international transfers were projected to have hit a record $1.37 billion, a massive jump from previous years. And that number doesn't even include fees from domestic deals or contract renewals, meaning the real figure is much, much higher. This market is controlled by a select few. European clubs are responsible for nearly 90% of all agent payments, with English clubs leading the charge, spending over $375.5 million on agent fees in 1 year alone. One anonymous agent reportedly pocketed an astonishing $45 million in commissions in 2025. How do they command such astronomical fees? Super agents have mastered the art of the package deal. They move multiple clients, players, and even coaches to a single club, creating clusters of influence. Jorge Mendes's relationship with clubs like Wolverhampton Wanderers and PSG is a prime example, where a big chunk of the squad is represented by his agency, Gestafiet. This gives the agent immense leverage in any negotiation. The transfer of Erling Haaland to Manchester City is a perfect case study. While the reported transfer fee was a relatively modest 60 million euro thanks to a release clause, the total cost was far higher. Reports suggest massive commissions in the tens of millions were paid to Haaland's father, Alfie, and to the agency founded by his late agent, Mino Raiola. Deals built around release clauses or free transfers are goldmines for agents. With no selling club to negotiate with, or a fixed, lower fee, the buying club has more cash available, and a larger slice can be funneled to the agent and player as signing bonuses and commission. In response, FIFA introduced new regulations that came into full force in October 2023. These rules aim to cap commissions and increase transparency. The goal was to rein in the agents. However, the initial results have shown that despite these rules, agent fees have remained at record-breaking highs. The super agents, it seems, always find a way to secure their profits in the market they build. Beyond the agents, a new and even murkier set of power brokers has entered the game. Private equity firms, hedge funds, and multi-club ownership, MCO groups. These financial giants aren't just influencing transfers. They're buying the clubs themselves, creating corporate structures that turn football into a global financial game. The rise of multi-club ownership is one of the most transformative trends today. Groups like the City Football Group, owner of Manchester City and a portfolio of clubs across the globe, pioneered this model. They can acquire a promising young player like Brazilian forward Savinho, develop him at a smaller club in Europe, and then seamlessly move him to their flagship team, Manchester City, his value having multiplied. This internal player trading can bypass the traditional transfer market entirely. By 2025, well over 122 clubs in Europe were part of MCO networks, a number growing rapidly and fueled mainly by American investors. This trend has created enormous controversy. When John Textor's Eagle Football Group, which controlled both Crystal Palace and Olympique Lyonnais, saw both teams qualify for the Europa League, UEFA rules on ownership conflicts forced Crystal Palace into the lesser Europa Conference League, despite their domestic cup win. Fans of clubs like France's Strasbourg, owned by Chelsea's Bluecoat conglomerate, have protested their club being used as a feeder team, with multiple Chelsea loanees on their books and their best prospects earmarked for London. But the influence of big finance goes even deeper. The spectacular collapse of the American investment firm 777 Partners is a chilling warning. 777 built a sprawling network of clubs, including Genoa in Italy, Sevilla in Spain, and Standard Liège in Belgium. But their business was a house of cards. In 2024, the firm imploded amid accusations of a massive fraud scheme, with lawsuits alleging fraud of more than $600 million. This left its entire portfolio of clubs in financial jeopardy. Standard Liège fans physically blocked the team bus to protest, as their club's accounts were reportedly left empty. The 777 collapse exposed the extreme risks of clubs being treated as mere assets on a balance sheet. These firms enter football for profit, not passion, and when their financial gambles fail, it's the clubs and their fans who pay the price. With transfer fees and wages spiraling, you might wonder how clubs can afford it all. The answer lies in a mix of booming revenues and some very creative accounting, all designed to navigate UEFA's Financial Sustainability Regulations, FSR, the successor to Financial Fair Play, FFP. The core rule is that a club must, over time, more or less break even. A new squad cost rule is being phased in, which by the 2025-26 season will limit a club's spending on wages, transfers, and agent fees to 70% of its revenue. This is where a crucial accounting trick comes into play: amortization. When a club buys a player, the transfer fee isn't booked as one massive expense. Instead, the cost is spread out or amortized over the length of the player's contract. Let's say a club buys a player for 100 million euros on a 5-year deal. In their accounts, that's an expense of 20 million euros per year for 5 years. Now, imagine that same summer, the club sells a player from its academy for 50 million euros. That 50 million euros is booked immediately as pure profit. So, for that financial year, the club shows a 50 million euro profit from the sale and only a 20 million euro expense from the purchase. That's a net accounting profit of 30 million euros, even though in the real world, their net cash spend is 50 million euros. This gives clubs huge wiggle room to comply with break-even rules, pushing the real cost of their spending into the future. It's perfectly legal, but encourages clubs to constantly buy and sell players to balance the books, fueling the transfer machine. The battle for control of football is constantly evolving, and the next decade will be defined by the clash between powerful new forces and the attempts to regulate them. Multi-club ownership models will continue their aggressive expansion. We can expect to see these MCOs controlling a huge percentage of clubs in Europe's top leagues, creating closed ecosystems where players are traded internally, away from the open market. This centralization of talent could create a de facto super league, dominated by the few conglomerates that own the most valuable clubs. At the same time, super agents are evolving. While FIFA tries to cap their earnings, they will find new ways to exert influence. We're already seeing agencies become full-service firms, integrating data analytics, legal services, and PR to make themselves indispensable. They're no longer just deal makers. They're career makers and strategic consultants. But there are counter-trends emerging. The disastrous collapse of 777 partners has been a global wake-up call. The fan outcry and instability it caused has put a glaring spotlight on the dangers of speculative investment, which will lead to calls for stricter ownership rules. We're also seeing clubs and players fight back against this dependency. Top clubs are investing heavily in their own data analytics teams to find talent, reducing their reliance on agents. Some high-profile players are even building their own teams of advisors to manage their careers, cutting out the traditional agent model. FIFA itself is pushing for more transparency with tools like the transfer matching system and the FIFA clearinghouse, designed to track and process payments to ensure everyone, including the small clubs that train these players, gets their rightful share. The battle for football soul will be fought between these forces of centralization and regulation, between the money and the attempts to control its flow. This world is constantly changing, with new deals and rules altering the game every season. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and understand the real forces shaping the sport you love, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And let us know in the comments. Who do you think holds the most power in football today? The agents, the clubs, or the investment funds? So, who really controls football transfers? As we've seen, the money trail leads far beyond the two clubs shaking hands. The headline fee is just the first domino. The cash flows from the buying club, but it's immediately fragmented. A portion is diverted to lenders who provide upfront cash. A huge slice is carved out for agents, who have made themselves the central nervous system of the market. Then there are the even more shadowy figures, the private equity firms and multi-club owners who are turning clubs into assets in global portfolios. And the clubs themselves play a sophisticated game of creative accounting, stretching the rules to their absolute limit. There is no single entity in control. Instead, a powerful and interconnected network of agents, financiers, and corporate owners has built an economy on top of the sport. They are the ones truly profiting from the billion-dollar transfer market, turning player registrations into financial instruments and clubs into investment vehicles. The beautiful game has become a playground for the world's richest and most powerful, and the transfer market is their primary tool of control.